The Sleepless Void. First Officer Stroll of the Vortexian Interstellar Fleet adjusted her sensory membranes as she completed her duty cycle. 20 standard rotations without rest was beginning to take its toll. The specialized dampening chamber aboard the diplomatic vessel Harmony of Worlds had malfunctioned 3 cycles ago, leaving all 17 Vortexian crew members unable to engage in proper rest cycles. Vortexians, like most evolved sentient species in the Galactic Coalition, required complete sensory isolation to achieve the neural reset that constituted proper rest. Their highly developed perception organs were simply too sensitive to the quantum resonance fields that permeated the universe. Without blocking these fields in specialized chambers, rest was impossible. Status report on the dampening chamber repairs, Stroll asked, her voice rasping with fatigue. Engineer Krolith's facial ridges drooped with exhaustion. The quantum stabilizers are still misaligned. We need replacement parts from the central hub. Another 3 cycles minimum. Stroll's membranes fluttered in distress. 3 more cycles without rest could push the crew past safety thresholds. The mission to establish diplomatic relations with a newly discovered spacefaring species couldn't be compromised, but crew safety was paramount. We'll need to divert to Station Proxima for emergency repairs, she decided. Alert the diplomatic court of our delay. This new species will have to wait. The communications officer, Dreth, swiveled in his chair. First Officer, the new species representative vessel is requesting permission to dock. They've detected our system malfunction and are offering assistance. Stroll's inner eyelids blinked rapidly in surprise. They detected our dampening chamber failure. How could they possibly know what systems we require? Unknown, Dreth replied. But they're quite insistent they can help. Very well. Allow them to dock in Auxiliary Bay 3. Full quarantine protocols. The human ship was unlike anything in Vortexian records. Rather than the sleek, crystalline designs favored by most coalition species, it was bulky, asymmetrical, and seemingly cobbled together from disparate materials. A delegation of 5 humans emerged from their vessel, walking with an ease that made Stroll instantly envious. How could they function so smoothly without proper rest facilities? Greetings, said the lead human, a tall female with a covering of dark fibers on her head. I'm Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Diplomatic Court. We detected your malfunctioning sleep chambers and thought we might offer assistance. Stroll's translator implant rendered the human speech perfectly, but the content was baffling. How did you detect our dampening chamber malfunction? That information wasn't broadcast. Captain Chen smiled, showing flat, white dental structures. We didn't need to detect it directly. Our sensors picked up the neurological patterns of your crew. You're all suffering from extreme sleep deprivation. Impossible, interjected Science Officer Molrex, who had insisted on joining the meeting despite his obvious fatigue. Our neurological patterns are shielded by our exoskeletons. Not from our sensors, replied another human. This one shorter with lighter head fibers. We've encountered 17 other spacefaring species, and all of them register on our empathic array. It's how we navigate social interactions. The implications stunned the Vortexian delegation into silence. These humans possess technology that could penetrate natural neurological shielding. The security implications alone were staggering. Why are you offering assistance? Stroll finally asked. Because everyone deserves a good night's sleep, Captain Chen said simply. We've brought portable sleep chambers that should work for your physiology. They're based on our own design but modified for your neural patterns. You have dampening chambers aboard your vessel? Krolith asked eagerly. The humans exchanged glances that Stroll couldn't interpret. Not exactly, said Captain Chen. We don't require sensory isolation to sleep. Humans can sleep almost anywhere. That's biologically impossible, Molrex stated flatly. All sentient species require sensory isolation for neural reset. Not us, replied the second human. We simply close our eyes and sleep. Sometimes we even continue processing sensory information while sleeping. We call those dreams. The Vortexian delegation stared in disbelief. A species that could rest without protection from the universe's constant quantum resonance bombardment. It defied everything they understood about evolved consciousness. "May we see these portable chambers?" Drixtel asked, setting aside the impossible biological claims for the moment. Her crew needed rest, regardless of the implausibility of human biology. The chambers the humans provided were elegant in their simplicity. Rather than the complex quantum field generators the Vortexians used, these were small, handheld devices that emitted a localized field. "These generate what we call white noise," explained the human engineer. "It creates a buffer between your sensory organs and external stimuli. Not complete isolation, but enough to allow rest." Desperate for relief, Drixtel authorized a trial. Engineer Krolith volunteered to test the device first, attaching it to his primary sensory ridge and activating it. Within moments, his posture relaxed and his secondary membranes closed, signs of entering the rest state. The remaining Vortexians watched in amazement as Krolith achieved in moments what had been impossible for days. "This is remarkable technology," Drixtel admitted. "We are in your debt, Captain Chen." "Happy to help," the human replied. "While your crew rests, perhaps we could begin preliminary diplomatic discussions. Our quarters aboard your ship are ready, if you'll have us as guests." Drixtel agreed, and arrangements were made for the human delegation to stay aboard the Harmony of Worlds, while the Vortexian crew took turns using the portable rest chambers. It was during the third rest cycle that the problems began. Dreth, the communications officer, awoke screaming from his rest period, his membranes fully extended in terror. The walls, they're breathing. Everything is dissolving into colors. More incidents followed. Crew members reported horrifying visions during rest cycles, impossible geometries, sensations of falling through endless space, being pursued by non-existent predators. Every Vortexian who used the human devices experienced these terrifying hallucinations. Drixtel confronted Captain Chen, her fatigue now compounded by anger. "Your devices are causing severe neurological disturbances in my crew. Explain this immediately." The human captain looked genuinely confused. "Neurological disturbances? What kind?" "Hallucinations, terrifying visions. Your rest devices are damaging my crew's minds." Understanding dawned on Chen's face. "Oh, they're experiencing our dreams." "Dreams? When humans sleep, our minds create simulations, stories, experiences, sometimes completely random sensory impressions. We call them dreams. They're a normal part of our sleep cycle." Drixtel struggled to comprehend. "You experience hallucinations, voluntarily, as part of rest." "They're not hallucinations to us," Chen explained. "They're a natural neural processing function. Our brains consolidate memories and process emotions through dream states." Science Officer Mulrex, who had been monitoring the conversation, suddenly looked alarmed. "Captain Chen, are you saying that humans regularly broadcast these dream states?" "I suppose we do, in a sense. Our brains generate electromagnetic activity during sleep. It's quite mild, though. Nothing harmful." "Not to humans, perhaps," Mulrex said gravely. "But to species with more sensitive neural receptors, like Vortexians, these broadcasts could be overwhelming. The portable devices you provided aren't causing the hallucinations. They're simply failing to block your crew's dream broadcasts." Captain Chen paled visibly. "You mean while my crew has been sleeping aboard your ship, we've been inadvertently bombarding your people with our dreams?" "Precisely," Mulrex confirmed. "And given what we've experienced, human dreams are extraordinarily intense and often disturbing." "We had no idea," Chen said, clearly distressed. "In all our previous encounters with other species, this has never come up." "Because most species sleep in quantum-isolated chambers," Drixtel realized. "We've never encountered a species that broadcasts during rest cycles. The implications for interspecies cohabitation are concerning." "We'll return to our ship immediately," Chen offered. "Get some distance between our sleeping crew and yours." But Trixtel, despite her exhaustion, recognized the diplomatic importance of this moment. No, this is precisely why first contact protocols exist, to discover these biological incompatibilities before widespread interaction. We need to understand this phenomenon better. In the cycles that followed, the humans and Vortexians worked together to study the dream broadcasting phenomenon. The humans developed modified versions of their portable rest devices that included filters to block their dream emissions, while the Vortexians learned to interpret and even anticipate the content of human dreams. Most fascinating to the Vortexian scientists was the discovery that humans actually enjoyed their dream states, even the frightening ones. What Vortexians experienced as terrifying hallucinations, humans described as interesting or exciting, or sometimes weird but cool. You actually look forward to these neural disruptions. Trixtel asked Chen one cycle, still unable to fully grasp the concept. Dreams are part of what makes us human, Chen explained. They help us process information, work through problems, sometimes even inspire our greatest innovations. Some of our most brilliant scientists and artists credit dreams for their breakthroughs. A species that draws strength from neural chaos, Mulrex mused. Truly remarkable. As the Vortexian crew adapted to human dream emissions with improved filtering technology, a new respect developed between the species. The humans were not merely resistant to the quantum resonance fields that made rest so difficult for other species. They actively incorporated that chaos into their consciousness and emerged stronger. As the harmony of worlds prepared to return to the Coalition's central hub, with news of this remarkable new species, Trixtel couldn't help but wonder what other surprises humans might bring to the galactic community. A species that could sleep amid chaos and turn neural disruption into creative energy was unlike any the Coalition had encountered before. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, other forces were taking notice of the strange dream broadcasting humans as well. Forces that would soon test humanity's unique abilities in ways no one could predict. Dream warriors. 6 standard cycles had passed since the Vortexian diplomatic vessel Harmony of Worlds had returned to Coalition space with news of the dream broadcasting humans. The revelation had sent shockwaves through the Galactic Coalition's 17-member species. Most Coalition races had responded with alarm, immediately implementing isolation protocols for human visitors. Specialized areas of space stations and diplomatic hubs were retrofitted with quantum shielding to contain human dream emissions. Some species refused contact entirely, citing biological incompatibility. The Vortexians, however, had taken a different approach. Having been the first to encounter humans, they had developed a fascination with human dream states. Vortexian scientists created increasingly sophisticated filters that allowed controlled exposure to human dream broadcasts, studying their patterns and content. Admiral Trixtel, promoted after her successful first contact mission, now commanded the Coalition's primary research station orbiting the neutral world of Proxima VY. Here, human and Vortexian scientists worked together to understand the implications of dream broadcasting. Admiral, priority communication from Coalition High Command, announced her new communications officer. Trixtel's membranes fluttered with concern. High Command rarely contacted frontier research stations directly. The projection that appeared before her showed the grave face of Supreme Commander Vortex, the highest-ranking military official in the Coalition. Admiral Trixtel, the Coalition faces an unprecedented threat. The Harvesters have breached the Cygnus defense perimeter. 3 worlds are already lost. Trixtel's inner eyelids closed reflexively in shock. The Harvesters were a mysterious non-Coalition species known for stripping entire planets of resources, including sentient life. For centuries, they had remained beyond the Coalition's borders, contained by the massive defense network. "How is this possible?" she asked. "The perimeter has held for generations. They've developed some form of neural shield. Our empathic weapons are ineffective. They simply don't register the Harvester's presence anymore. It's as if they've become ghosts to our sensing technology." The implications were catastrophic. Coalition defense strategy relied heavily on empathic technology that could detect hostile intent and neutralize attacking forces through targeted neural disruption. If the Harvesters had found a way to shield themselves from these defenses, I'm dispatching the 7th Fleet to your position. Commander Vortex continued. Your research on human neural patterns may be our only hope. Find a countermeasure, Admiral. Billions of lives depend on it. The transmission ended, leaving Zrixtal in stunned silence. After a moment, she activated the station-wide alert system. All research personnel to Central Command. This is not a drill. Captain Maya Chen, now the official human ambassador to the Coalition, arrived first. In the cycle since first contact, she had learned to read Vortexian emotional cues with remarkable accuracy. Something's wrong, she stated simply. Zrixtal briefed the assembled team on the Harvester breach. Our entire defense network is built on detecting and manipulating neural patterns, she explained. If the Harvesters have developed shielding against this technology, we have no effective defense. Dr. Mulrex, who had continued his research on human dream patterns, spoke up. Perhaps we've been approaching this from the wrong angle. Instead of trying to shield against human dream broadcasts, what if we could amplify them? Amplify. Chen looked concerned. Our unfiltered dreams already cause severe disruption to Vortexian neural patterns. Amplifying them would be potentially devastating. Mulrex agreed. But consider this. If the Harvesters have developed shielding against conventional empathic weapons, they may be unprepared for the chaotic, unpredictable nature of human dream broadcasts. Zrixtal's membranes rippled with sudden understanding. A weapon the enemy hasn't encountered cannot be defended against. I can't authorize using my people as weapons, Chen objected. Dream broadcasting is an involuntary biological function. We can't control dream content, and the effects on non-humans can be traumatic. Not weapons, corrected Dr. Xanthi Phillips, the lead human neurologist on the research team. But perhaps dream volunteers. Over the next rotation, as the 7th Fleet assembled at Proxima VI, the research team developed what they called the Dream Amplifier. Based on modified versions of the original REST devices, these new machines could capture, focus, and project human dream broadcasts at significantly increased power and range. The targeting system is the key innovation, Dr. Phillips explained during the final briefing. Previous filtering technology was designed to contain dream broadcasts. This system does the opposite. It focuses them into a coherent beam that can penetrate standard neural shielding. Admiral Zrixtal examined the prototype with her sensing membranes, and human volunteers will operate these devices. We have 30 volunteers from the Human Diplomatic Corps, Captain Chen confirmed. Each will sleep in rotation, ensuring continuous coverage. But Admiral, we still don't know what effect amplified dream broadcasts will have on the Harvesters or on our own forces. We'll maintain maximum distance between human dreamers and coalition forces, Zrixtal assured her. And we've developed improved filtering technology for our ships. The unknown factor is the Harvesters. Intelligence reports indicated that the Harvester fleet had already consumed the resources of 3 border worlds and was moving toward the heavily populated Centauri system. The 7th Fleet, now reinforced with the experimental dream amplifiers, moved to intercept. Admiral Zrixtal commanded from the flagship Quantum Resolve, with Captain Chen coordinating the human dreamer teams. Harvester fleet detected at coordinates 227 Mark 43, announced the sensor officer. 83 vessels, maintaining formation. They're not reacting to our presence, noted the tactical officer. Our conventional empathic targeting systems still can't get a lock. Activate dream amplifiers, Zrixtal ordered. Begin with minimum power. Let's see how they respond. In specialized chambers aboard 3 support vessels, the first rotation of human dreamers had entered their sleep cycles. Their neural patterns, captured and amplified by the new technology, projected outward toward the Harvester fleet. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, 3 Harvester vessels broke formation, their movements becoming erratic. They're responding. The tactical officer reported, membrane ridges rising in excitement. Something's disrupting their coordination. Increase dream projection to 60%. Zhrixtal commanded. Target the central command vessels. As the amplified dream broadcasts intensified, the effect on the Harvester fleet became more pronounced. Vessels collided with one another, others fired weapons at empty space, and some simply powered down, drifting lifelessly. What exactly are they experiencing? Zhrixtal asked Chen. The human captain consulted her monitoring station. Based on the neural patterns, a mix of standard human dreams. The primary dreamer is experiencing what we call a falling dream, the sensation of dropping from a great height. The secondary dreamers are broadcasting anxiety scenarios, being chased, being unprepared for an important test, losing teeth. Losing teeth. Zhrixtal's membranes fluttered in confusion. Common human anxiety dream, Chen explained. Don't ask me why. The Harvester fleet's formation had completely collapsed now, with vessels moving randomly or not at all. But then, without warning, 5 large ships at the rear of the formation began emitting a strange energy signature. They're adapting, the tactical officer warned. Energy readings suggest they're generating some kind of counterfield. Increase dream projection to maximum, Zhrixtal ordered. All dreamers. Admiral, at that intensity, we risk neural damage to the dreamers, Chen protested. We risk the loss of billions of lives if we fail, Zhrixtal countered. Do it, Chen reluctantly complied, activating all 30 human dreamers at maximum amplification. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The entire Harvester fleet seemed to freeze in space. Then, one by one, the vessels began to power down completely, including the 5 that had attempted to generate counterfields. They're shutting down, the tactical officer reported in disbelief. All of them. Boarding parties ready, Zhrixtal commanded. I want prisoners and any information we can salvage about their shielding technology. The Coalition boarding teams discovered scenes of complete neural shutdown aboard the Harvester vessels. The Harvesters, insectoid beings with highly organized neural structures, had apparently been unable to process the chaotic, irrational content of amplified human dreams. Their rigid, hierarchical minds had simply overloaded and shut down. More remarkably, the few Harvesters who regained consciousness exhibited dramatically altered behavior. They were disoriented, non-aggressive, and seemingly disconnected from their hive mind structure. It's as if the dreams broke something fundamental in their collective consciousness, Dr. Molrex reported after examining the captives. Their neural patterns show complete disruption of their hierarchical communication network. In the aftermath of the battle, as Coalition forces secured the disabled Harvester fleet, Admiral Zhrixtal visited the recovery ward where the human dreamers were being treated for neural fatigue. Your people saved billions of lives today, she told Captain Chen, who was monitoring the dreamers' recovery. The Coalition owes a debt we can never repay. They were just doing what humans do naturally, Chen replied with a tired smile. Dreaming chaotically and making no sense to anyone else. Perhaps that's your species' greatest strength, Zhrixtal observed. The universe is fundamentally chaotic and unpredictable. Most species evolve to create order from chaos, to shield ourselves from it. Humans, somehow, have learned to thrive within it, to incorporate it into your very consciousness. We've had a lot of practice, Chen said. Earth's history is basically one long series of adapting to unpredictable circumstances. The victory over the Harvesters marked a turning point in the Galactic Coalition's relationship with humanity. What had initially been seen as a biological incompatibility, humans' tendency to broadcast chaotic dream states, was now recognized as a unique and valuable trait. Coalition species began to view humans not as disruptive influences to be contained, but as valuable allies whose very nature provided a defense against threats that conventional ordered thinking couldn't counter. Research stations like Proxima VI shifted their focus from containing human dream broadcasts to studying how controlled exposure might benefit other species. Some Vortexians even began practicing what they called dream therapy, carefully filtered exposure to human dreams to increase their own neural flexibility and creativity. 6 cycles after the Battle of Centauri, the Coalition Council officially invited Earth to become the 18th member of the Galactic Coalition. The membership ceremony included the unveiling of a new term in the Coalition's official lexicon. Dreamers, the formal designation for humans in the Coalition's member species registry. Admiral Stroll, who presided over the ceremony as the newly appointed Minister of Interspecies Relations, found the term particularly fitting. Humans hadn't just endured the quantum resonance that other species required shielding from. They had transformed it into something beautiful and powerful. While Vortexians had spent millennia building increasingly complex technology to create perfect sensory isolation for proper rest, humans had simply closed their eyes, surrendered to the chaos, and called it a nap. The universe, it seemed, had more to learn from humanity than anyone had imagined. And as hundreds of new human diplomatic vessels joined the Coalition fleet, carrying their sleeping crews and their incredible dreaming minds to the furthest reaches of known space, Stroll couldn't help but wonder what new possibilities these strange, resilient dreamers would unlock next.